brought to you by Soundlibra.com. You can find a direct link to our full library in the description of this audio, or visit us anytime at Soundlibra.com. Welcome to the Purpose-Driven Day, where we unlock the power of intentional living. I'm Alex.
And I'm Lisa. We're so excited to start this journey with you.
Before we dive in, just a quick heads up that while we're exploring personal growth and wellness, this content is for informational purposes only and isn't medical or mental health advice. So please consult with a professional for your specific needs.
That's a great point. Today, in our very first episode, we're diving into a fundamental idea: redefining your day to redefine your life.
Exactly, Lisa. So many of us feel like life is just happening to us, right? We get caught in routines, we react to daily demands, and before we know it, weeks and months have flown by, and we wonder, what am I even doing?
That feeling can be so disheartening. It's like being on a treadmill, putting in the effort, but not really going anywhere meaningful. And often, that feeling stems from a lack of true purpose guiding our daily actions.
And that's precisely what this series is about. We're going to explore how to actively design your days, aligning them with a deeper sense of purpose so that your life feels not just busy, but truly meaningful. Think of it like this. Instead of just reacting to the currents, you're learning to steer your own ship.
Steering your own ship. I like that. So, Alex, you mentioned purpose often feels elusive. Why do you think that is for so many people?
I believe it's a few things. First, we often treat purpose like a treasure chest that's hidden away, waiting to be discovered. We think, one day I'll have this huge epiphany, and I'll just know my purpose. But in reality, purpose is often something we build, not something we find fully formed. It's an evolving compass, not a fixed destination.
So, it's not necessarily one big thing, but a collection of smaller alignments?
Precisely. And this leads to the second reason purpose feels elusive. We're not actively designing our lives. We're often living on autopilot, letting inertia dictate our choices. We wake up, we do what we've always done, we go to bed. And in that state, it's hard to even see what might bring us true fulfillment.
That makes sense. If you're just going through the motions, it's difficult to discern what truly resonates with you. So, how does this idea of designing your day come into play?
It's about applying a design thinking approach to your everyday life. Just like a product designer approaches a problem, we need to understand our users, ourselves, our needs, our desires, and then prototype solutions. In this context, your day is the product, and your life is the user experience. We're going to learn how to be intentional about the choices we make each day, so they contribute to the larger picture of a life well lived.
Okay, I'm starting to piece this together. It's about taking a more active, almost architectural role in how we spend our time and energy.
Exactly. It's about shifting from a passive existence to an active, generative one. We'll be questioning the status quo of busy, that badge of honor many wear, and instead, we'll be focusing on purposeful. Is your busyness moving you towards something meaningful, or is it just a distraction?
That's a powerful question to ask ourselves. And you've mentioned that purpose isn't a one-time revelation. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. Think about a river. It's always flowing, always changing course slightly as it encounters different landscapes. Our purpose can be similar. It's not static. As we grow, learn, and experience new things, our understanding of what's important can shift. The goal isn't to find the purpose, but to continuously align ourselves with what matters now, and to be open to that alignment evolving.
So, we're building a framework for living with intention, day by day, and being adaptable as we grow.
You've got it. This series is built on that very idea. We're not going to give you a magic bullet. Instead, we're going to equip you with principles and practices to design a life that reflects your deepest values and aspirations. We'll explore how to identify your core values, how to schedule your time in alignment with those values, and how to build in regular reflection to ensure you're staying on track.
It sounds like a comprehensive approach to creating a life that feels authentic and fulfilling.
That's the aim, Lisa. And it starts with a simple, yet profound shift in perspective, seeing your day not as a series of obligations, but as an opportunity. An opportunity to take one more step, however small, in the direction of who you want to be and the life you want to live.
So, before we wrap up this introductory episode, let's quickly recap what we've touched on. We've introduced the concept of the purpose-driven day as a way to move from feeling like life is happening to us to actively designing our days for meaningful living. We discussed why purpose can feel elusive, often because we treat it as something to be found rather than built, and because we live on autopilot.
And we highlighted that purpose isn't a static endpoint, but an evolving compass. The key takeaway for today is to start seeing your day not just as a collection of tasks, but as a canvas upon which you can paint a life of intention.
That's a beautiful way to put it, Alex. And that sets the stage perfectly for our next episode, where we'll explore the foundation of purpose, your personal North Star.
That's right. Join us next time as we delve deeper into finding your unique direction. Next episode, the foundation of purpose, your personal North Star. Welcome back. Last time, we introduced the idea of taking control of your day to transform your life. Now, let's tackle the absolute bedrock of that transformation, understanding your personal purpose.
That's right, Alex. We're talking about finding your personal North Star. It sounds big, maybe even a little intimidating, but it's really about uncovering what makes you tick, what truly drives you at your core. It's not necessarily about your career, but about your life's mission, your deep-seated values, and the impact you want to have.
Exactly. And to start, let's address a common misconception. Many people think purpose means finding a grand, singular goal, like becoming a famous artist or curing a disease. While those are wonderful purposes, for most of us, purpose is more about the underlying energy and values that guide us. It's the why behind our actions.
So, it's less about the specific what and more about the why. Like, someone might find purpose in nurturing a garden, while another finds it in teaching children. Both are about growth and development, just expressed differently through their chosen activities.
Precisely. It's about identifying the core principles that resonate with you. Think of your purpose as the rudder on a ship. Without it, you might drift aimlessly. With it, you can navigate through life's storms and currents, always moving in a direction that feels authentic to you. This North Star is what will guide your decisions, your priorities, and ultimately, your daily actions.
Okay, so how do we begin to discover this personal North Star? Where do listeners start?
We start with introspection and a few key questions. The first step is to explore your passions. What activities make you lose track of time? What do you find yourself naturally drawn to learning about or doing, even when no one is asking you to?
Ah, the flow state. I know exactly what you mean. When I'm cooking a new recipe or deeply engrossed in a good book, hours can just disappear. Those are definitely moments where I feel most alive.
Those are valuable clues. Now, consider your values. What principles are non-negotiable for you? Is it honesty, creativity, compassion, justice, exploration? List out what's most important to you. These values are the building blocks of your purpose. Knowing your core values helps you understand why certain passions or activities resonate so deeply.
So, if someone deeply values connection, they might find purpose in roles that involve bringing people together, or perhaps in family life. If they value innovation, they might be drawn to problem solving and creating new things.
You've got it. And don't underestimate the power of reflecting on your past experiences. Think about times you felt truly fulfilled or proud. What were you doing? Who were you with? What challenges did you overcome? These moments often hold clues to your unique strengths and the kind of contributions you're meant to make.
It's like looking back through your life's journal to find recurring themes or moments of strong inner satisfaction.
Exactly. Another way to think about it is impact. What kind of mark do you want to leave on the world, however small? It doesn't have to be world-changing. It could be about making your immediate family happier, contributing positively to your local community, or simply leaving a space better than you found it.
So, purpose isn't always about grand gestures. It can be about consistent, everyday actions that align with what matters most to us.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about how to put this into practice. I recommend a simple exercise. Grab a notebook or open a document on your computer. Dedicate some time, perhaps 30 minutes, without distractions.
Okay, notebook in hand. What do we write?
First, brainstorm a list of your passions. Don't censor yourself. Write down anything that sparks your interest, from hobbies to subjects you love to discuss. Aim for at least 10 things.
Passions? Okay. I'm thinking about things like photography, learning new languages, and spending time in nature.
Perfect start. Next, list your top 5 core values. Think about what you stand for, what principles guide your behavior. If you had to pick just a few that are absolutely essential to your sense of self, what would they be?
Values? I'd say creativity, kindness, continuous learning, independence, and authenticity.
Excellent. Now connect these. Look at your passions and your values. Do you see any overlap? For example, if you value creativity and your passion is painting, the connection is clear. If you value kindness and your passion is volunteering, that's also a strong link.
I see it. My passion for learning new languages connects with my value of continuous learning, and my interest in photography connects with creativity. It's starting to feel more concrete.
That's the goal. Then think about the impact. Based on your passions and values, what kind of positive contribution can you make? Imagine you're at the end of your life, looking back. What would you want to have contributed, even in a small way?
This is a powerful question. It makes you think beyond the immediate, perhaps leaving a positive influence through my work or sharing knowledge that helps others.
Exactly. And finally, try to synthesize these elements into a personal purpose statement. It doesn't need to be perfect, and it can evolve over time. A good purpose statement is often concise, action-oriented, and connects your passions, values, and desired impact. It should feel like your unique North Star, something that guides you.
So, a purpose statement could be something like to use my creativity and passion for learning to inspire others to see the world from new perspectives. Is that the right idea?
That's a fantastic example, Lisa. It's personal, it's aspirational, and it clearly states what drives you. Remember, this isn't a one-time exercise. Your purpose can and will evolve as you grow and learn. The key is to regularly check in with yourself to ensure your daily actions are still aligned with your North Star.
So, to recap for our listeners, your personal purpose is your guiding principle, your North Star. It's found by exploring your passions, defining your core values, reflecting on impactful experiences, and considering the positive mark you want to leave. And we encourage you to create a personal purpose statement from these insights.
Precisely. This is the foundation upon which everything else in our series will be built. Without a clear sense of purpose, it's much harder to make meaningful choices about your time and energy. Next episode, Decoding Your Values, the Pillars of Purpose. Welcome back. Last time we found your personal North Star. Now, let's decode your values.
Last episode felt like we were looking at the destination. Now, we're talking about the compass that guides us there. So, Alex, why are our values so crucial when it comes to living a purposeful life?
That's a fantastic question, Lisa. Think of it this way. Your purpose is your why. The reason you get out of bed in the morning, the impact you want to make. Your values are your how. They're the fundamental principles and beliefs that guide your actions, your decisions, and your overall behavior. They're the invisible architects of your life. Without clear values, our purpose can become blurry, or worse, we might pursue a purpose that's out of alignment with what truly matters to us.
So, if our purpose is the grand vision, our values are the guiding principles that ensure we're on the right path to achieving it and that the journey itself feels authentic. I love that. But how do we actually go about decoding them? It sounds a bit abstract.
It can feel that way at first, but it's more practical than you might think. We can start by understanding what values really are. They're not just a few buzzwords we pick. They're deeply held convictions. For example, isn't honesty one of those qualities we admire in others and strive for ourselves?
Absolutely. Honesty, integrity, kindness, courage. These are words that come to mind.
Exactly. And those are often core values. But sometimes values can be more nuanced. It could be creativity or a desire for growth, or perhaps a commitment to community. The key is that they resonate with you on a deep level. They're the ideals you aspire to live by, even when it's difficult. When you're living in accordance with your values, you feel a sense of inner peace and authenticity. When you're not, you often feel a sense of unease or dissonance, even if you can't quite pinpoint why.
I recall a time when I took on a project that paid very well, but the company culture felt off. I remember feeling stressed and unhappy for weeks, and it wasn't until I really thought about it that I realized the culture clashed with my value of collaboration and mutual respect.
That's a perfect example, Lisa. You experienced that internal friction because your actions weren't aligned with your values. So, how we start decoding them? One effective method is to look at your life and identify moments of intense positive or negative emotion. Think about times you felt incredibly proud, fulfilled, or deeply energized. What was happening? What actions were you taking? What principles were being honored?
So, reflecting on peak experiences, both good and bad?
Precisely. And conversely, think about times you felt frustrated, resentful, or deeply disappointed. What was happening then? What values were being violated? Often, our values are most clearly illuminated when they are challenged. For instance, if you feel angry when you see unfairness, fairness might be a core value for you. If you feel a surge of joy when you help someone learn a new skill, growth, or contribution might be a core value.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like looking at the stress points and the joy points in our lives and extracting the underlying principles.
Exactly. Another technique is to consider the qualities you most admire in others. Who do you look up to? What qualities do they possess? Those admired traits are often reflections of your own values. If you admire someone's discipline, perhaps discipline is a value you want to cultivate or already hold dear. If you admire their generosity, generosity might be a core value.
This is so helpful. It's like holding up a mirror to ourselves, but also seeing the best of what we aspire to. What if someone struggles to even start listing these? Are there common categories of values we can think about?
Yes, absolutely. While values are deeply personal, they often fall into broad categories. We can think about values related to achievement, such as success, ambition, or competence, connection, like love, friendship, or family, integrity, such as honesty, fairness, or justice, personal growth, including learning, curiosity, or creativity, and service, which might involve contribution, compassion, or helping others. These are just starting points, of course.
So, a value could be something like efficiency in achievement or loyalty in connection or authenticity in integrity.
Precisely. And it's crucial to distinguish between values and goals. A goal is something you want to achieve, like running a marathon. A value is a principle that guides your behavior in pursuing that goal, like perseverance or discipline. If your value is perseverance, the marathon is just one way to express that.
That's a really important distinction. So, once we've identified a potential list of values, what's the next step? It's easy to get a long list.
That's true. The next step is to prioritize. Not all values are created equal for each person. Some values will be more fundamental to your identity and decision-making than others. Try to narrow down your list to your top 3 to 5 core values, the ones that most consistently influence your life and that you would defend. Ask yourself, which of these values are non-negotiable? Which ones, if compromised, would lead to the most significant distress?
So, picking the ones that are truly the pillars of our purpose. It's like finding the ultimate guiding principles.
Exactly. And once you have your core values, the real work begins living them. This means consciously making decisions that align with them. When faced with a choice, ask yourself, which option best reflects my core value of X? Or does this action honor my value of Y? This is where purpose becomes actionable.
It sounds like it shifts your entire decision-making process. Instead of asking, what do I want? You're asking, what aligns with who I am?
You've got it. It's about moving from simply identifying values to embodying them. This is the essence of purpose-driven living. By understanding and living by your core values, you build a life of integrity, authenticity, and deep-seated fulfillment. You create a life that not only feels good, but also feels right.
So, to recap, our values are the guiding principles that inform our actions and decisions, supporting our overarching purpose. We can uncover them by reflecting on positive and negative emotional experiences, identifying admirable qualities in others, and considering common value categories. The next step is to prioritize our values, drilling down to our top 3 to 5 non-negotiables. And finally, the most crucial step is to consciously live by these values, making them the compass for our daily choices.
Beautifully summarized, Lisa. Understanding your core values is like finding the blueprint for your personal constitution. They are the enduring truths that should shape your life's work and your life's joy.
This episode has been incredibly illuminating, Alex. I feel a much clearer understanding of how to connect my daily actions to something deeper.
And that's exactly what we aim for. Next episode, we'll put this understanding into practice with the purpose audit. We'll explore where you are right now in relation to your purpose and values. Welcome back to the Purpose-Driven Day. Last time, we dove deep into decoding your values, those fundamental beliefs that act as your personal pillars. Now it's time for an honest check-in. We're conducting a purpose audit, a close look at where you are right now in relation to that purpose and those values.
Exactly, Alex. We've talked about your North Star, your ultimate purpose, and the values that guide you. But are your daily actions actually reflecting that? This episode is all about taking a snapshot of your current life. It's about asking ourselves, am I living in line with what truly matters to me?
Think of it like this. Imagine you've downloaded a map for a treasure hunt, and you've identified your treasure. Now, before you start digging, you need to know your current location on that map, right? You wouldn't just blindly start digging in a random spot. This purpose audit is that crucial step of figuring out where you stand.
And it's okay if the answer isn't perfect. Self-reflection isn't about judgment. It's about awareness. Sometimes we get so caught up in the day-to-day hustle that we drift without even realizing it. We might be spending a lot of time on things that don't genuinely fulfill us.
That's right, Lisa. And that's where we start identifying what we call purpose drains. These are activities, commitments, or even thought patterns that consume your energy and time, but don't contribute to your sense of meaning or align with your core values. They're the energy leaks in your life.
Purpose drains. I like that. So, how do we actually do this audit? What's our first step?
The first step is a thorough inventory. We need to look at all the significant areas of your life. Think about your work, your relationships, family, friends, your hobbies, your personal development, even how you spend your downtime. For each of these areas, ask yourself, Does this activity, this commitment, align with the purpose and values we've discussed?
So, if one of my core values is creativity, and I'm spending 40 hours a week in a job that has zero creative outlet, that's a potential purpose drain, isn't it? Even if the job is financially stable.
Precisely. It's about bringing that misalignment into conscious awareness. Financial stability is important, of course, but if it's consistently at the expense of a deeply held value, it's worth examining. We're not saying you have to quit your job tomorrow, but acknowledging the drain is the first move towards finding solutions.
And how do we measure that alignment? Is it a gut feeling, or are there more concrete ways to assess it?
It's a combination. Start with your intuition. How do you feel when you're engaged in these activities? Do you feel drained, resentful, or bored? Or do you feel energized, engaged, and inspired? These feelings are powerful indicators. Beyond that, you can make a simple list or chart. For each major area of your life, list the hours you dedicate each week. Then, next to that, honestly rate how well it aligns with your core values using a simple scale. Maybe a scale of 1 to 5, where 1 means no alignment and 5 means perfect alignment.
Okay, so I list out my activities, assign hours, and then rate the alignment with my values. What if, say, my work gets a 2, but my friends get a 4? It shows me where my time is going and where my energy is actually being invested meaningfully.
Exactly. This visual representation can be incredibly eye-opening. You might see that a significant chunk of your time is going into activities scoring low on the alignment scale, while areas that score higher are getting very little of your attention. That's the essence of the audit, identifying the gaps.
And what about those activities that score low? Are they all necessarily bad? For instance, I have to go to the grocery store once a week. It doesn't exactly spark joy or align with my value of adventure, but it's a necessity.
That's a fantastic point, Lisa. Not every activity needs to be deeply aligned with your ultimate purpose. We have practicalities and responsibilities. The key is to distinguish between necessary tasks that are simply functional and those that are actively depleting your energy or distracting you from your path. The purpose drains are the ones that sap your spirit without offering necessary function or profound meaning.
So if it's a necessary task, I just accept it. But if it's an activity I choose to do, or a commitment I've made and it's draining me and misaligned, that's where the audit flags it for deeper consideration.
You've got it. Once you've identified these purpose drains, the next phase is to explore why they exist. Are they habits? Are they commitments you made out of obligation? Are you a people pleaser who struggles to say no? Understanding the root cause is crucial for addressing it effectively.
And this connects back to our previous conversations. If we identified commitment to personal growth as a core value, and now our audit shows we're spending most of our free time passively scrolling through social media, that's a pretty direct purpose drain. It's a chosen activity that's misaligned and draining.
Absolutely. And this audit isn't a one-time event. It's a practice. Life changes, our priorities shift, and new opportunities or challenges arise. Regularly checking in with this audit ensures you stay on course. Think of it as a quarterly or biannual recalibration of your life's compass.
So, to summarize, the purpose audit is about first, taking inventory of all the major areas of your life. Second, honestly assessing how well activities and commitments in those areas align with your core values and identified purpose. And third, identifying those purpose drains, activities that consume your energy without contributing meaningfully.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. This honest self-assessment is the fertile ground upon which we'll build a more fulfilling and aligned life. It's about seeing your current reality clearly, without rose-tinted glasses. Only then can we begin to architect meaningful changes.
It's empowering, even if it's a little daunting to face the truth. But the clarity it brings is invaluable.
Indeed, and that clarity is precisely what we need to move forward. Next episode, we'll start using this awareness to architect our time more effectively. Next episode, value-aligned scheduling, architecting your time. Welcome back to the Purpose-Driven Day. Last time, we performed a thorough purpose audit.
It was an eye-opening exercise for sure. We dug deep to see if our current activities align with what truly matters.
And now, we translate that awareness into action. This episode is about crafting a schedule that supports your purpose and values. Welcome to Episode 5, Value-Aligned Scheduling, Architecting Your Time.
Architecting your time. It sounds so intentional. How do we build this purpose-driven schedule when our calendars feel like a tangled mess?
Your schedule is a powerful tool, a blueprint for how you spend your time. Value-aligned scheduling means consciously allocating that time to activities that resonate with your deepest values and purpose.
So, we're proactively designing our days and weeks to reflect what we discovered in our last audit.
Exactly. Think of your values as the foundation, your purpose as the design, and your schedule as the construction plan. You need a plan to build a purposeful life.
Okay, that analogy helps. But how do we actually do it?
We break it down. First, identify key activities supporting your values. Remember your purpose audit? Schedule time for those.
So, if one of my values is lifelong learning, I should literally put dedicated learning time on my calendar.
Precisely. Treat these blocks of time as important appointments.
That feels radical for someone used to a calendar dictated by external demands. How do we protect this time?
Protect your scheduled, value-aligned time. Learn to say no to things that don't serve your priorities.
The dreaded no. It feels easier to just say yes and fit everything in.
Every yes to something misaligned is a no to something that matters. Protecting your scheduled time is saying yes to living a more meaningful life.
So, no is an affirmation of what you've decided is important.
Exactly. Employ time blocking. Divide your day or week into specific blocks dedicated to a task or activity.
Can you give us an example of time blocking?
Sure. Imagine a Tuesday, 9 to 10 a.m. for focused work on a project, 12 to 1 p.m. for a healthy lunch and walk, 7 to 8 p.m. for dedicated family time.
So, it's about work, well-being, and relationships.
Precisely. It's a holistic approach. Be realistic about your energy levels and capacity.
That's crucial. Overscheduling leads to frustration.
Indeed. Another technique is batching. Group similar tasks together and do them all at once. Batch email responses into 1 or 2 blocks.
Oh, that prevents interruptions and helps maintain focus.
It does. Batching emails, administrative tasks, or creative sessions allows you to get into a flow state. It reduces context switching. So, you've identified your value-aligned activities. You're protecting that time, your time blocking, and your batching.
This is starting to sound like a truly intentional way to design our lives. It's about making our calendars a reflection of our inner compass.
That's the goal. This is an ongoing practice. Your values might evolve, your purpose might deepen. Value-aligned scheduling needs to be dynamic.
So it's not about a rigid schedule, but a framework we can adapt.
Exactly. Regularly review and adjust your schedule. We'll cover daily reflection and weekly reviews later.
So, to recap, value-aligned scheduling means allocating your time to activities supporting your core values and purpose. We achieve this by identifying these activities, protecting dedicated time, using time blocking, and batching similar tasks.
You've got it. It's moving from reacting to demands to designing a life that reflects what you care about most. By architecting your time, you're building a life of purpose.
This is a powerful shift. It's about getting the right things done.
That's the essence of purpose-driven living. Next episode, we'll dive into meaningful prioritization, exploring how to say yes to what truly matters and no to the rest. Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time, we architected our time around what truly matters. Today, we tackle meaningful prioritization.
That saying no part is the hardest, isn't it? We live in a world that often tells us to do more, be more, and accommodate everyone. So, how do we actually prioritize when everything feels important?
That's the million-dollar question, Lisa. And the answer lies in connecting back to our purpose and our values. Remember your personal North Star and the pillars of your values? Those are your compass for prioritization. When you're clear on those, deciding what deserves your precious time and energy becomes much, much clearer.
Right.
So, instead of just looking at a to-do list and picking what seems urgent, we should be asking, does this align with my purpose? Does it honor my core values?
Exactly. It's a shift from task management to impact management. We're not just managing our time. We're managing our energy and focus towards what will yield the greatest sense of fulfillment and progress towards our larger goals. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a limited number of precious slots in your day. You wouldn't fill those slots with just anything, would you? You want to put in the most valuable things.
No, you wouldn't. You'd put in the deep work, the relationships, the things that truly move the needle.
Precisely. So, let's introduce a simple yet effective framework for meaningful prioritization. We can call it the Purposeful Impact Matrix. It involves looking at any task or commitment through two lenses: its alignment with your purpose and the potential impact it has on your life or goals.
Okay, the purposeful impact matrix. So, we have two dimensions, purpose alignment and impact. How does that break down?
Great question. Let's break it down into four quadrants. First, we have tasks that are high purpose alignment and high impact. These are your absolute priorities. These are the activities that directly serve your core mission, your biggest goals, and deeply resonate with your values. You want to dedicate the majority of your focused energy here.
So, if my purpose is to help others learn, and I have an opportunity to mentor someone who's really eager, and it will directly impact their growth, that's a high purpose, high impact activity.
Perfect example. Now, the second quadrant, high purpose alignment, but low impact. These are important and they connect to your purpose, but they might not move the needle significantly in the short term. They could be foundational things or activities that build long-term capacity. The strategy here is to do them, but perhaps in a more efficient way or batch them together. They nurture your purpose, but they aren't the big wins.
Like spending time reading industry news that fuels my knowledge, which in turn helps my overall purpose, but isn't a direct client interaction. It's important for long-term success, but not the immediate win.
Exactly. Now for the third quadrant, low purpose alignment, but high impact. These are often the tasks that feel urgent and important on a surface level, but don't truly align with your core mission. They might be things that bring external validation or meet immediate demands, but they pull you away from what truly matters.
This sounds like the trap many of us fall into. We're busy, we're achieving things, but are they the right things for us?
That's the critical insight. For these tasks, you need to question them rigorously. Can they be delegated? Can they be automated? Do they really need to be done by you, or even done at all? Ideally, we want to minimize these or find ways to outsource them so our energy can be focused elsewhere. Sometimes, achieving high external impact can be a distraction if it's not aligned with your internal compass.
So, it's about distinguishing between being effective and being busy. High impact here might just be a lot of noise if it's not purposeful.
Precisely. And finally, the fourth quadrant, low purpose alignment and low impact. These are the true purpose drains. They consume your time and energy without contributing to your goals or your sense of fulfillment. These are the distractions, the time wasters, the things you do out of habit or obligation that don't serve you.
Oh, I can think of a few things that fit there. Scrolling aimlessly through social media, perhaps? Or attending meetings that seem to have no clear objective.
Those can certainly fall into that category if they're not serving a specific, aligned purpose. The strategy for these is simple, and it ties in with that saying no we mentioned: eliminate them ruthlessly. These are the things that distract you from your North Star. And the more you can clear them out, the more space you create for what truly matters.
So, to recap the purposeful impact matrix: 1. High purpose, high impact. Your absolute top priorities. Maximum focus here. 2. High purpose, low impact. Important for the long haul, but manage efficiently. 3. Low purpose, high impact. Question rigorously. Delegate, automate, or eliminate if possible. 4. Low purpose, low impact. Eliminate these completely.
That's a fantastic summary. This matrix provides a filter for every request, every task, every potential commitment that comes your way. When someone asks you to do something, or when you're planning your week, you can mentally run it through this filter. Does it hit high purpose and high impact? Great, that's a yes. Does it hit low purpose and low impact? That's a firm no.
It gives you the permission and the justification to say no. Because you're not just saying no to a person or a task, you're saying yes to your purpose, yes to your values, and yes to your most impactful work.
And that's the essence of meaningful prioritization. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's about channeling your limited resources of time and energy into activities that create genuine fulfillment and forward momentum. This is where your carefully aligned schedule from last week really comes into play. Now you have the clear criteria for filling those schedule blocks with the right things.
It's like having a treasure map. You know where the X is, and you're not going to get sidetracked by shiny rocks that aren't part of the treasure.
Wonderful analogy. So, as you move forward, practice using this purposeful impact matrix. Be courageous in your no's and be enthusiastic and focused with your yes. This intentionality is what transforms a busy day into a purposeful day.
It's about making choices that reflect who we are and what we want to achieve.
Exactly. And that leads us into our next episode, where we'll explore how to eliminate all those things that drain our energy and pull us away from our purpose. The purpose drains.
Looking forward to it.
Next episode, eliminating purpose drains, reclaiming your energy. Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time, we learned how to prioritize what truly matters. Now, let's remove what hinders it.
Purpose drains. That's such a powerful phrase, Alex. It really conjures up images of energy just seeping away, leaving us depleted and off course. I'm excited to dive into how we can spot these and, more importantly, how we can rehydrate our lives by cutting them out.
Exactly. Think of it like this. You meticulously scheduled your week to align with your North Star, your values, and your priorities. You have all this intentional energy ready to pour into meaningful activities. But then, before you know it, hours have vanished, and you feel exhausted, not fulfilled. That's your purpose being drained.
So, what are these common culprits, these purpose drains? Where do we even begin to look?
They can be pretty varied, but we can broadly categorize them. First, there are unproductive habits and time-wasting activities. We all have them. It's that endless scroll through social media, the binge watching that goes on longer than intended, or even just getting lost in a rabbit hole of irrelevant information online. These activities aren't inherently bad, but when they consume time that could be spent on things aligned with our purpose, they become drains.
Oh, I can definitely relate to the endless scroll. It's so easy to get sucked in. And it's not just the time lost, is it? It's the feeling afterward, a kind of mental fog, a sense of wasted potential.
Precisely. And speaking of habits, think about inefficient routines. Maybe your morning isn't set up for success, or your process for tackling tasks leads to unnecessary back and forth, which drains your mental energy. These are often hidden drains because they feel like just how things are done.
That makes sense. So, we have unproductive habits and inefficient routines. What else?
Next up, We have unfulfilling commitments and obligations. These are things we say yes to, often out of habit, a sense of obligation, or a desire to please others, but they don't truly align with our values or what we want to achieve. This could be taking on extra projects at work that don't interest you, agreeing to social events that exhaust you, or even maintaining memberships or subscriptions you don't use.
It's like having too many things on your plate that don't nourish you, and instead, they just weigh you down. Learning to say no or to renegotiate these commitments becomes crucial.
Absolutely. A powerful way to identify these is to ask yourself, does this commitment energize me or drain me? Does it move me closer to or further from my purpose? If the answer is consistently draining, it's a prime candidate for elimination.
That's a great question to ask. It forces you to be honest. What about from a relationship perspective? Can people be purpose drains?
That's a tough but vital area. Yes, toxic or unsupportive relationships can be significant purpose drains. These are relationships where you consistently feel drained, criticized, misunderstood, or unsupported. It's not about cutting out everyone who challenges you. Healthy challenge can foster growth. But we're talking about relationships that consistently leave you feeling worse, less capable, and further away from your authentic self.
It's about distinguishing between constructive feedback that helps you grow and negativity that pulls you down. So, those are the categories: unproductive habits, inefficient routines, unfulfilling commitments, and toxic relationships. Now, how do we actually go about eliminating them?
We need a strategic approach, like decluttering your physical space, but for your time and energy. For unproductive habits and time-wasting activities, the key is awareness and replacement. Start by tracking your time for a few days. You might be shocked at how much time is consumed by these activities. Once you're aware, consciously choose to replace those time sinks with purpose-aligned activities, even small ones. If you catch yourself endlessly scrolling, set a timer for 5 minutes, and when it goes off, switch to reading a book for a few minutes or doing a quick breathing exercise.
So, it's not just about stopping a bad habit, but immediately filling that gap with something positive.
Precisely. For inefficient routines, the solution is optimization. Look at your daily or weekly processes. Can you batch similar tasks? Can you use tools or technology to automate repetitive actions? For instance, if you find yourself constantly looking for information, create a central digital folder for frequently accessed files. If your mornings feel chaotic, wake up 15 minutes earlier to prepare breakfast or lay out your clothes the night before. Small, consistent tweaks can save a lot of mental energy.
I like that. Optimize the process. It's about making things flow more smoothly. And for unfulfilling commitments,
This requires courage and clear boundaries. When a commitment no longer serves you or your purpose, it's okay to gracefully bow out. This might mean renegotiating your role in a project, declining new requests, or even ending a membership. Practice polite but firm refusal. You can say, "Thank you for thinking of me, but I can't commit to that at this time, as my energy is focused elsewhere." It's about reclaiming your most precious resources, your time and energy.
that takes practice, but it's so important for protecting our purpose-driven time. And for those difficult relationship drains,
This is often the most challenging. It involves setting clear boundaries. In some cases, it might mean reducing contact, specifying what kind of behavior is acceptable, or even, in extreme situations, ending the relationship altogether. It's about choosing your well-being and your commitment to your purpose over maintaining a draining connection. Remember, your energy is finite, and you need to invest it wisely.
so, by actively identifying and then strategically eliminating these purpose drains, we're essentially creating more space, more time, and more energy to dedicate to the things that truly fuel us and align with our deepest values. It's about making conscious choices to protect our purpose.
Exactly. We've talked about purpose as our North Star, our values as our compass, and meaningful prioritization as our map. Eliminating purpose drains is like clearing the debris from our path. ensuring we can navigate towards our destination with clarity and strength. It's about actively reclaiming your time and energy for what truly matters.
It's a proactive step, isn't it? Not just waiting for things to be aligned, but actively clearing the way. It feels empowering.
It truly is. This episode focused on shedding what drains you. We've examined unproductive habits, inefficient routines, unfulfilling commitments, and toxic relationships as key areas where purpose can be siphoned away. We've also explored practical strategies for identifying and eliminating each of these, whether through awareness and replacement, optimization, setting boundaries, or renegotiating obligations. Next episode, we'll explore finding purpose even in the seemingly mundane aspects of life. Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time, we explored how to eliminate energy-draining activities. Now, let's find purpose in the mundane.
We often think of purpose as grand achievements, but this episode focuses on the everyday, chores, commutes, and routines. How can we find meaning in these moments?
Exactly. Purpose isn't just for the extraordinary. It's woven into our daily existence. So, how do we uncover that?
First, acknowledge that these mundane activities are the building blocks of our lives. When we reframe them as opportunities, everything can change. Imagine your commute as time for learning or reflection, not just a chore.
That's a great example. You can listen to podcasts or audiobooks, or simply be present and notice your surroundings. Bring intention to those moments. Approach chores with gratitude for having what you need to keep your home tidy.
Gratitude is a powerful anchor. When we're grateful for simple things, like warm water, a chore transforms into an act of self-care or care for our living space. It expresses value for our environment and the order we bring to it. That's purpose on a small scale.
This applies to preparing meals too. Instead of just seeing it as fuel, find purpose in nourishing yourself or others. Be present with the ingredients and the process. Engaging your senses turns a routine task into a form of meditation.
So, we're cultivating presence and appreciation. It's like finding hidden gems. Purpose can be found in the deliberate, conscious engagement with small things, not just grand goals.
Precisely. It's about finding meaning in the process. Folding laundry can feel repetitive, but if you see it as preparing something comforting for loved ones, you imbue it with nurturing care. Tidying your desk might seem trivial, but a clear space often leads to a clearer mind. Organizing creates order, a fundamental drive.
Each purposeful act is a brushstroke on the canvas of our lives. We're intentionally creating the masterpiece, one stroke at a time. What are some practical ways listeners can start finding purpose in their own mundane tasks today?
Pick one routine activity, making coffee, brushing teeth, walking to your car, and do it with full attention for a week. Notice the sensations, sounds, and smells. Observe without judgment. This is mindfulness, a direct path to finding presence and purpose in your actions.
That's a wonderful challenge. So, instead of just going through the motions, we're experiencing them. This likely makes them feel less burdensome. If we find meaning, they don't feel like such a chore.
Absolutely. Resistance often comes from seeing a task as meaningless. By reframing it, we reduce that internal friction. Connect these mundane tasks back to your core values. If health is a value, preparing a nutritious meal aligns with it. If order is a value, tidying your home is an expression of that.
That's a brilliant connection. When doing something mundane, mentally link it to a core value. It's like giving yourself a pat on the back for living in alignment. This dishwashing feels tedious, but it's caring for my home, and order is important to me. I'm fulfilling that value.
Exactly. This doesn't require a life upheaval. It's about small, consistent shifts in perception and intention. Not every moment needs to be profound, but ordinary moments can be imbued with meaning if we choose. This is where purpose truly becomes a way of living, not just an occasional pursuit.
It's about embracing the process. And it's okay if not every moment feels joyous. The purpose here is cultivating deeper engagement and meaning, even when things are routine. It's appreciating the quiet hum of everyday life.
Well said. We've talked about bringing presence to routine activities, connecting chores to core values, and the power of gratitude in transforming mundane tasks. These small, intentional acts build a foundation for a more purposeful and fulfilling life, one moment at a time.
So, to recap, we've explored finding purpose in the mundane by being present during routine activities, linking them to core values, and practicing gratitude. These aren't huge changes, but they are powerful ways to infuse our everyday lives with meaning. It's about shifting from doing to consciously being in our daily tasks.
Indeed, this mindful approach to the everyday is a crucial step in creating a purpose-driven life. Meaning is often found not just in the peaks, but in the steady, quiet landscape of our daily existence.
So, remember to look for those small joys and moments of presence in whatever you're doing today.
Next episode, we'll be looking at how to build a practice of daily reflection to keep our sense of purpose sharp and clear. Welcome back. We explored finding purpose in ordinary moments. Now, let's focus on daily reflection.
That's right, Alex. We've built this framework for a purposeful life, but how do we ensure we're living it day to day? That's where daily reflection comes in. It's a check-in with ourselves.
Exactly. Think of it like navigating a long journey. You glance at your map periodically, not just at the start and end. Daily reflection is that check-in for your life's journey, ensuring you're heading toward your personal North Star.
So, it's not about drastic changes, but about small, informed adjustments?
Precisely. It's about noticing what's working, what's not, and what you can tweak for tomorrow. This isn't a burden, it's a gift. A few minutes can prevent hours of feeling off track. We've been designing our days. Now we'll refine them day by day.
I love that. It feels so manageable. What does this daily reflection look like in practice?
Absolutely. The simplest form uses three core questions. You can ask them in your head or write them down. The first question is, what went well today?
Okay, that's positive. Focusing on successes.
Yes. Acknowledge your wins, big or small. Did you stick to your tasks? Did you connect with someone? Recognizing these successes reinforces positive behavior and builds momentum. It reminds you of your capabilities.
So, it's like a personal pat on the back for the day.
Exactly. And it shifts your focus from what might have gone wrong, which is key for the next question. The second question is, what could I have done differently?
Ah, this is where the learning happens.
This is where conscious adjustment happens. It's objective observation, not self-criticism. Perhaps you procrastinated on a task. What could you have done differently? Maybe breaking it down, asking for help, or taking a break. Or maybe you reacted impulsively. What could have been done differently? Perhaps pausing before responding.
It's about identifying opportunities for growth.
You've got it. And this leads to the third question. What will I focus on tomorrow?
This is where we put the insights into action.
Precisely. Based on what went well and what you could have done differently, what is one small, actionable step for tomorrow? If you were pulled in too many directions, maybe tomorrow's focus is to say no to one non-essential request. If you felt disconnected, perhaps tomorrow's focus is a 5-minute mindful conversation. This question transforms reflection into intention.
So, to recap, 1. What went well today? To acknowledge your successes. 2. What could I have done differently? To identify learning opportunities without judgment. And 3. What will I focus on tomorrow? To set a clear, actionable intention.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. And remember to connect these back to your personal North Star and core values. If contribution is a core value and you reflect that you didn't contribute much, tomorrow's focus could be finding a small way to add value.
It's about ensuring our daily actions sync with our deeper purpose. It's about making the day count towards something meaningful.
Exactly. This practice builds incredible self-awareness. You start noticing patterns in your behavior and alignment with your values. This awareness is the foundation for making purposeful changes. It's how we move from having a purpose to actively living it.
It's like building muscle memory for purposefulness. The more you reflect, the more naturally you'll align your actions.
That's a fantastic analogy. For more depth, you can also ask, did I honor my values today? What did I feel most alive? What drained my energy? And can I address it?
These add another layer of understanding, especially connecting back to our values episode. It's all coming together.
It really is. And this daily practice leads perfectly into our next episode, where we'll expand this to a weekly review. We'll see how to audit your progress over a longer period.
So, for today, the key takeaway is that a few minutes of reflection can dramatically enhance your ability to live a purposeful life. Ask yourself, what went well? What could I have done differently? And what will I focus on tomorrow?
Make a habit, and your compass will always point true north. Next episode, weekly review, auditing your progress and purpose. Welcome back to the Purpose-Driven Day. Today, we're diving into Episode 10, Weekly Review, Auditing Your Progress and Purpose.
Last time, Alex, we focused on daily reflection. Today, we're expanding that to a comprehensive look at the past week.
Exactly. Think of your week as a series of choices. We've built a framework, understanding purpose, decoding values, scheduling with intention, prioritizing what matters, eliminating drains, finding joy, and reflecting daily. Now it's time to see how it all played out.
So, where do we start with this weekly audit? It sounds a bit daunting.
It can, but we'll break it down. The goal is insight, not judgment. First, dedicate a specific time for this review, just like daily reflection. Consistency is key. Maybe Sunday evening or Monday morning. Find a quiet time.
A dedicated time.
Got it.
Once we're in that quiet space, what's the first question?
What went well this week and why? Celebrate your wins. Did you stick to your value-aligned schedule? Say no to a purpose drain? Choose an activity that brought you joy.
I like that it frames the review positively. It's easy to focus on what we didn't do, so successes are a great anchor.
Precisely. And importantly, Lisa, identifying why these things went well helps us understand what made them possible. Was it specific planning? A certain mindset? This helps us replicate positive experiences. List out those successes and the contributing factors.
Okay, successes and the reasons behind them. What's next in the audit?
Next, we ask, where were the challenges and what can I learn from them? Look at the tougher moments. What didn't go according to plan? Where did you feel drained, frustrated, or off track?
This is where self-discovery happens. It's not about beating yourself up, but about understanding the patterns.
Absolutely. The key is to learn, not to dwell. For each challenge, ask, was this a value misalignment? A poor prioritization? Did I overlook a potential purpose drain? Was I too ambitious? Sometimes the challenge is simply external. The promptness of your reaction and your ability to adapt is what matters.
So, instead of thinking I failed, it's this happened, here's what I noticed, and what I can do differently.
Exactly. And to help, use your values as a guide. If a challenge arose because you acted against a core value, that's a significant insight. It's a signal that your actions didn't align with your personal North Star.
That makes so much sense. It's like having built-in feedback loops. Our values are our pillars, and this review shows if our actions supported them or chipped away at them.
You've got it. The third key question is, did my actions this week move me closer to my purpose? This brings us back to that overarching goal from episode 2.
Ah, yes, our personal North Star. So, are we spending time and energy on things that are truly taking us in that direction?
Precisely. Look at your schedule, your accomplishments, even your distractions. Ask yourself honestly, did this week contribute to my larger purpose? Think of building a house. Every brick laid should be in service of the final structure. If you spent a week gathering unrelated materials, you wouldn't be making much progress.
That's a great analogy. It's easy to get busy with stuff that doesn't contribute to the finished product. This review helps us identify busy work versus purposeful action.
It does. And sometimes the answer might be not as much as I'd like. That's okay. This is where we identify areas for the next week. So, following this, we move to planning.
Planning for the future based on the review. This is where the design part really kicks in.
It is. The fourth step is, what adjustments do I need to make for next week? Based on your successes, challenges, and purpose alignment, what specific actions will you take? Perhaps you need to block out more time for focused work or consciously schedule a stress-reducing activity.
So, we're taking lessons learned and turning them into actionable steps. It's not just about looking back, but about actively shaping the future.
Exactly. Maybe you realize you're saying yes to too many things that aren't aligned with your top priorities. The adjustment might be to practice saying no more firmly or to have a go-to phrase ready for when you need to decline. Or perhaps you identified a recurring energy drain, like excessive social media scrolling. Your adjustment might be to set specific time limits for it.
And this makes the entire process feel proactive and empowering. It's not just about reflecting on what happened, but about designing what will happen. I love how it connects back to everything we've discussed. From purpose and values to scheduling and prioritization, this weekly review is the mechanism that makes it all work.
It's the engine that keeps the vehicle of your life running smoothly and on the right path. Remember, this isn't about achieving perfection. It's about progress and continuous evolution. The weekly review is your compass and your map, ensuring you're always course-correcting towards your desired destination.
So, to recap our weekly review process, first, find a quiet, dedicated time. Second, ask what went well and why to celebrate successes. Third, explore where were the challenges and what can I learn to gain insights. Fourth, assess did my actions this week move me closer to my purpose to check alignment. And finally, plan what adjustments do I need to make for next week to take action.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. By dedicating time each week to this structured audit, you're actively designing a life that is increasingly purposeful, value-aligned, and fulfilling. This practice builds momentum and ensures that the principles we've been discussing are actively shaping your daily experience.
It's about living intentionally, week after week. And this sets us up perfectly for our next topic.
Indeed. Next episode, we'll be discussing how to evolve your purpose as you grow and adapt to life's changes.
Exciting! So, join us next time for episode 11, Evolving Your Purpose, Growth and Adaptation.
Welcome back to the Purpose-Driven Day. Last time, we explored how to conduct a weekly review to audit your progress and ensure you're staying true to your purpose. Now, we're diving into a crucial aspect of purposeful living, the evolution of your purpose.
That's right, Alex. It's easy to think of purpose as this fixed, unchanging thing, like a destination you reach and then you're done. But life, and we as individuals, are constantly changing. So our purpose needs to adapt too, doesn't it?
Exactly, Lisa. Your purpose isn't a rigid blueprint. It's more like a living, breathing guide. Think of it as your personal North Star. As you navigate through life, your experiences, your knowledge, and your aspirations shift. And because of that, your North Star might appear to move slightly, or at least how you navigate toward the changes.
So it's not about losing your purpose, but about refining it as you learn and grow?
Precisely. Life throws new challenges and opportunities at us. You might gain new skills, discover new passions, or even face significant life events that shift your perspective. All of these things can influence what feels most meaningful and important to you. For instance, imagine someone whose initial purpose was solely focused on career advancement. Years later, after starting a family, their purpose might expand to include nurturing and guiding their children alongside their career. The core desire to contribute and grow might remain, but the expression of that purpose evolves.
That makes so much sense. It's like you gain new lenses through which to view your life and your impact. So, how do we actively embrace this evolution instead of being resistant to it?
The key is to cultivate a mindset of continuous learning and adaptation. This ties back to our previous discussions on reflection, regularly asking yourself questions like, what's truly important to me right now? Or what new things have I learned about myself and the world recently? Can reveal these shifts. It's about being curious about your own growth.
Curiosity is a great word for it. Sometimes change can feel unsettling, and we might resist it because it means stepping out of our comfort zone. But if we approach it with curiosity, it becomes an adventure, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And this adaptation isn't just about adding new things. Sometimes it involves letting go of aspects of your purpose that no longer serve you. As you grow, you might realize that a certain goal or activity, which once felt aligned, now drains your energy. Recognizing this and consciously deciding to pivot is a sign of a maturing, evolving purpose. It's about making space for what truly resonates now.
So, it's a process of integration and sometimes deprioritization. We integrate new insights and aspirations, and we deprioritize or let go of things that no longer align with our evolving sense of purpose.
Exactly. Imagine your purpose as a garden. You plant seeds, you nurture them, and as the seasons change, you might prune certain branches, introduce new plants, or even change the layout based on what's flourishing and what the soil can best support. You're not starting over. You're cultivating a richer, more vibrant garden. This ongoing cultivation is essential for a life that feels fulfilling over the long haul.
That garden analogy is perfect. It implies ongoing care and attention. So, for our listeners, how can they practically start incorporating this idea of evolving purpose into their daily or weekly routines?
One practical step is to revisit your personal values periodically. Remember when we discussed decoding your values? Your core values might remain relatively stable, but your understanding and prioritization of them can deepen. As you gain new life experiences, you might see your values in a new light. For example, if creativity has always been a value, perhaps a new experience leads you to discover a passion for digital art, expanding your creative expression beyond what you previously imagined.
So, re examining those foundational pillars, your values, helps you see where your purpose might be steering you next.
Precisely. Another strategy is to actively seek out new experiences that challenge you or expose you to new perspectives. Travel, learning a new skill, engaging with diverse communities. These all provide fertile ground for your purpose to evolve. They introduce new inputs that can spark new insights. It's about intentionally inviting growth.
That sounds a bit like actively inviting change, which can be a little scary but also incredibly rewarding. So, to recap for our listeners, embracing an evolving purpose means understanding that it's not static. It's about being open to change, driven by curiosity, and actively integrating new experiences and insights. We do this by periodically revisiting our values, seeking out new learning opportunities, and recognizing that sometimes letting go of older pursuits is just as important as embracing new ones.
You've summarized it beautifully, Lisa. It's about staying agile, remaining connected to what truly matters to you as you grow, and ensuring your purpose continues to be your most powerful guide. This ongoing adaptation is what keeps a purposeful life dynamic, exciting, and deeply fulfilling.
It's like giving your purpose room to breathe and grow with you.
Exactly. And this preparedness for evolution makes us stronger and more resilient when life inevitably presents us with change. It helps us navigate those shifts with grace and intention.
This has been such a valuable reminder that purpose isn't a final destination, but a continuous journey of growth and adaptation.
And that journey is what makes life so rich. Next episode, we'll be tackling how to build resilience and overcome the obstacles that inevitably arise on this purposeful path. Next episode, overcoming obstacles, resilience in purposeful living. Welcome back to the Purpose Driven Day. We're on episode 12, and we're diving deep into something we all encounter: obstacles. No purposeful journey is ever a straight line, right?
Absolutely not, Alex. Last time, we talked about how our purpose can evolve. But what happens when that evolution hits a wall, or a mountain rather? Today, we're tackling how to build resilience and navigate those inevitable challenges.
Exactly. Think of it this way. If your purpose is your North Star, life will sometimes throw clouds our way. Our goal today is to equip you with the tools to find that star again, or sometimes to trust your compass even when the star is hidden. We'll address common hurdles and practical strategies to overcome them.
So, what are some of the biggest clouds people tend to see in their purposeful journey?
One of the most common is self-doubt. It's that nagging voice that whispers, "Are you sure you can do this? Or who are you to think you can achieve this?" This internal critic can paralyze us before we even start. Remember when we discussed identifying your personal values? Sometimes self-doubt flares up when we feel we're not living up to those values, or when we're unsure if our actions truly align.
That makes sense. It's like second guessing the very foundation we've built. And I imagine procrastination is a close cousin to self doubt.
Oh, it's definitely in the family. Procrastination often stems from fear: fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, or even fear of success. When we're faced with a task aligned with our purpose, if that self-doubt creeps in, we tend to put it off. It feels safer to do nothing than to try and fall short. We're essentially avoiding the potential sting of not measuring up.
So we've got internal battles. What about external pressures? Those can feel just as daunting.
They absolutely can. External pressures come in many forms. It could be from well-meaning family and friends who have different expectations for us. It might be societal norms or the pressure to conform. Sometimes it's simply the demands of daily life: work, responsibilities, unexpected crises that pull us away from our intended path. These pressures can make us question if our personal purpose is even valid or achievable in the grand scheme of things.
It's like being on a winding road, and suddenly there are detours and road closures. How do we keep moving forward when those happen?
That's where resilience comes in. Resilience isn't about avoiding problems. It's about how we bounce back from them. The first step in building resilience is developing self-awareness. We need to recognize when self-doubt is creeping in or when we're procrastinating. Just naming it, this is self-doubt, or I'm procrastinating because I'm afraid, can take away some of its power.
So, acknowledging the obstacle is the first step to overcoming it. What's next?
Next is reframing our perspective. Instead of viewing obstacles as insurmountable problems, we can start seeing them as opportunities. Think about it. A setback in a project might reveal a flaw in our initial plan, allowing us to create a stronger one. A challenging conversation might lead to a deeper understanding with someone. Every obstacle can be a chance to learn, to grow, and to clarify our purpose even further. We're not just enduring the storm, we're learning how to sail through it.
That's a really powerful way to look at it. So, instead of, oh no, this is a disaster, it becomes, okay, what can I learn from this?
Exactly. And to support this reframing, we need to cultivate a growth mindset. This is the belief that our abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. It's the opposite of a fixed mindset, which believes our qualities are static. With a growth mindset, failures aren't seen as proof of inadequacy, but as stepping stones on the path to mastery. Remember back in episode 11, we discussed how purpose evolves? A growth mindset is crucial for that evolution.
That connection is so important. So, we're aware, we're reframing, and we have a growth mindset. What about practical action? Because sometimes knowing is one thing, doing is another.
Absolutely. When procrastination strikes due to overwhelm, breaking tasks down into smaller, manageable steps is key. We talked about value-aligned scheduling in episode 5. Apply that here. If a large goal feels daunting, break it down into tiny actions that align with your deepest values. Even 5 minutes of focused work can build momentum. Another strategy is to seek support. Talk to a trusted friend, a mentor, or a coach. Sharing your struggles can provide new perspectives and encouragement.
It's like having a small team helping you push that boulder, rather than trying to do it all alone.
Precisely. And when external pressures mount, we need to be clear about our boundaries. This connects to episode 7, where we discussed eliminating purpose drains. Saying no to commitments that don't align with your purpose and protecting your time and energy is vital for resilience. It's about choosing what serves your North Star, even when other voices are pulling you in different directions.
So, it's about being a good steward of your own purpose. And how do we keep that compass steady when things go really wrong, like a major setback?
That's where consistent practice comes in. Daily reflection, as we discussed in episode 9, becomes your anchor. When you encounter a setback, take time to reflect. What happened? What did I learn? How does this situation, ironically, serve my larger purpose or teach me something about it? Weekly reviews, as in episode 10, are also crucial for processing larger challenges and adjusting your course.
So, it's not just about dealing with the immediate problem, but incorporating the learning into our ongoing journey.
Exactly. And finally, remember that resilience is a muscle. The more you exercise it by facing and navigating challenges, the stronger it becomes. Don't be afraid to stumble. The key is to get back up, learn from the experience, and continue moving forward, guided by your purpose. Every obstacle overcome makes your journey richer and your commitment to your purpose even more profound.
That's such an empowering way to end this part of our discussion. We've learned that self-doubt and procrastination are internal hurdles, external pressures are real, but self-awareness, reframing, a growth mindset, breaking down tasks, seeking support, setting boundaries, and consistent reflection are our powerful tools for building resilience.
You've summarized it perfectly, Lisa. Remember, the path to a purposeful life is rarely smooth, but with these strategies, you can transform potential roadblocks into stepping stones for growth.
Next episode, Designing Your Legacy, the enduring impact of purpose.
Welcome back. Last time we discussed overcoming obstacles. Now, let's explore purpose in relationships and community.
That's right, Alex. It's a fantastic point. We're not meant to live in a vacuum. Our purpose often finds its greatest expression and its deepest meaning when shared or when it contributes to something larger than ourselves. So, how do we begin to integrate our personal purpose with our connections to others?
The first step, Lisa, is to recognize that our purpose isn't just about what we do, but also about how we show up for the people in our lives and the communities we inhabit. Think back to our discussions about values. Remember how we identified our core values as the pillars of our purpose? Well, those same values should guide our interactions with others.
So, it's about being consistent. If one of my core values is honesty, then living purposefully means being honest not just in my work, but also with my family and friends. I can't have one version of myself for my job and another for my personal life if I'm truly living by my values.
Exactly. And this consistency creates a powerful sense of authenticity. When people see you acting in alignment with your stated values, they trust you. This builds stronger, more meaningful relationships. For example, if contribution is a core value for you, and you've designed your day to include volunteering, that's not just ticking a box. It's actively living your value, and it can attract like-minded individuals to you, fostering a sense of community.
That makes sense. And when we talk about community, it doesn't always have to be formal volunteering. It could be as simple as being a supportive neighbor, actively listening to a friend, or participating in local events. It's about contributing your unique gifts and energy.
Precisely. And we can be intentional about this. Just as we schedule time for our personal priorities, we can actively schedule time and energy for our relationships and community involvement. This isn't about adding more to an already packed schedule, but about making conscious choices about where our energy goes. Imagine you have a value of creating connection. You might intentionally schedule a weekly call with a family member or arrange a coffee date with a friend you haven't seen in a while.
That's a great way to put it. Conscious choices. It's easy to let these things happen organically, which can be lovely, but being more deliberate ensures that these important connections don't fall by the wayside when life gets busy. It's about making space for what truly nourishes us and, in turn, nourishes others.
And this applies to family relationships too. When we understand our own purpose, we can better understand the purpose and needs of our loved ones. Perhaps your purpose involves nurturing and supporting others. In your family, this could translate to being the person who facilitates family gatherings or the one who actively listens to everyone's concerns. It's about bringing your purposeful energy into those closest relationships, making them richer and more supportive.
It's like our individual purpose becomes a lens through which we view and interact with our wider world. And it can also help us navigate challenges within relationships. If we're clear on our values, we can approach disagreements or conflicts from a place of integrity, focusing on finding solutions that align with those core principles.
Absolutely. And this leads to something very powerful, shared purpose. When individuals or groups come together around a common goal or a shared vision, the impact can be exponential. Think about any successful project, any impactful organization. It's driven by people who have aligned their individual purposes towards a collective aim.
So, it's not just about finding purpose individually, but also about recognizing and cultivating purpose between people. How can we find or create these shared purpose opportunities?
We can start by being open. When you're involved in a group or a project, ask yourself, what is the shared intention here? How can my personal strengths and values contribute to this common goal? Sometimes it's about finding an existing group whose mission resonates with you. Other times, it might be about initiating something yourself, perhaps with friends or colleagues who share a common concern or passion.
And when we're seeking this shared purpose, it's important to remember that it doesn't always have to be grand. It could be a book club focused on personal growth, a neighborhood watch program, or even a group of friends committed to healthy living. The scale isn't as important as the alignment of intention and the generative energy it creates.
That's a vital distinction, Lisa. It's about finding or creating spaces where your purpose can be amplified and where you can contribute to the well-being and growth of others. This outward expression of purpose strengthens not only ourselves, but also the fabric of our connections and communities. It truly enriches our lives.
So, to recap, Alex, we've explored how our personal purpose extends into our relationships and communities by staying true to our values, being intentional with our time and energy for these connections, and looking for opportunities to engage in shared purpose. It's about living our values outwards and finding fulfillment in contributing to something beyond ourselves.
Beautifully summarized, Lisa. This outward reach is what makes a purpose-driven life truly sustainable and deeply rewarding. Thanks for listening. Welcome back, everyone, to the final episode of the Purpose-Driven Day. Today, we're going to talk about something truly powerful, designing your legacy.
Designing your legacy. It sounds so grand, Alex. But after our journey through the series, I'm starting to see it's not about castles or fortunes, is it? It's about the lasting impact we leave.
Exactly, Lisa. Think back to episode 1, where we redefined our days to redefine our lives. We started with the idea of a personal North Star, that core sense of purpose. And from there, we explored our values, audited our current state, and learned to architect our time around what truly matters.
Right. We looked at value-aligned scheduling and meaningful prioritization. It was all about saying yes to the things that fuel us and no to those purpose drains. And remember episode 8? Finding purpose even in the mundane, in those small, everyday joys. That really stuck with me.
It's the little things that add up, isn't it? Then we moved into the practices that keep us on track, daily reflection and weekly reviews. Those became our compass and our audit for making sure we were still aligned with our purpose and, importantly, that we could adapt as our purpose evolved. That was episode 11 about growth and adaptation.
And we didn't shy away from the tough stuff. Episode 12 focused on overcoming obstacles, on building resilience. Because living purposefully isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. And then, just last time, in episode 13, we explored how purpose ripples outward, impacting our relationships and our community.
So, bringing it all together, designing your legacy is the natural culmination of all these steps. It's the enduring impact of living a life aligned with your purpose. It's not just about what you accomplish for yourself, but what you contribute to the world and to the people in it.
It's like planting a tree, Alex. You choose the right spot, nurture it, protect it from storms, and eventually, it provides shade, fruit, and beauty for generations. Our purposeful actions are the seeds for that tree.
That's a beautiful analogy, Lisa. Your legacy is built day by day, choice by choice. It's in the kindness you show, the knowledge you share, the problems you solve, the inspiration you provide. It's in the way you make others feel.
So, how do we actively design this legacy? It feels like a more intentional step than just living day to day.
It is. Designing your legacy starts with contemplating what you want to be remembered for. Imagine yourself at the end of your life. What impact do you hope you've made? What lessons do you hope you passed on? This vision then guides your present actions.
It's about being deliberate. If I want my legacy to be one of compassion, then every interaction, every decision should reflect that. It's not just a passive outcome, it's an act of creation.
Precisely. It's about conscious contribution. Think about the ripple effect. When you live with purpose, you inspire others to find their own. You create a positive chain reaction. That's a powerful legacy in itself.
It makes me think about the problems we want to leave solved, or at least the progress we want to have contributed to. Whether it's a specific project, a community initiative, or simply raising children to be good, purposeful individuals.
And it's important to remember that legacy isn't just for the grand gestures. Your legacy can be the quiet strength you offer a friend, the mentorship you provide a colleague, the wisdom you share with your family. These personal impacts are often the most profound.
So, in essence, the entire series has been about building the foundation for a meaningful legacy. By understanding our purpose, aligning our actions, reflecting consistently, and showing resilience, we're inherently designing that enduring impact.
That's absolutely right. We've covered how to define your purpose, uncover your core values, and then architect your life around them. We've talked about prioritizing what matters, clearing out what drains you, and finding meaning in everyday moments.
We've learned the importance of daily check ins and weekly reviews to stay on course, and how our purpose can and should evolve with us. And we've emphasized how our purpose extends beyond ourselves, enriching our relationships and our communities.
And in this final episode, we've connected all those dots to the overarching idea of legacy. It's the natural outflow of a life lived with intention and deep personal meaning. It's about leaving the world and the people in it a little better than you found them.
It's a beautiful thought to end on. Thank you, Alex, for guiding us through this incredible series. It's been a journey of self discovery and practical application.
The pleasure was all mine, Lisa. And thank you to all our listeners for joining us on the Purpose Driven Day. May you continue to design lives that truly matter, leaving behind a legacy that shines.
Thanks for listening to the series.